All right. We're back. And it looks like we're streaming on Facebook again. So we'll see if I can't redo this on the other. Oh, it's not the best thing we doing this.
Now they're back.
Chris found us. Okay. I'm glad everyone's staying on the page. Although it doesn't look like. Well, anyways. All right. Okay. So sorry about anyone that missed us. We'll give everybody a few minutes to maybe try and find us again.
By the way, it was not our problem. It was not our fault. Don't blame us because there's no shooter messing this up.
Yeah, right. This was not shooter related. Not being here. This is because Streamyard lost their stream to Facebook. So we had to so and if you're watching this, could you just share for us real quick if you did find us already? I think that'll be the easier thing than me try to create a new event on the fly on our page.
Yeah, it was either we continued without Facebook or we stopped and restarted again, and we wanted to see all your guys' lovely faces. So
yes. Or else we're just talking to ourselves. And well, I mean, not to hey, listen. We do have a great listening audience on just the podcast too. So
yes,
it's not just about the live viewers, but
we can blame Shooter because he was the one that actually set up the initial link. So maybe he sabotaged us on purpose.
Yeah, maybe he gave us the spirit air bad juju.
The bad.
I told that guy. I don't know how many times I told that guy not to fly Spirit. I mean, he just doesn't listen to me.
Hey, listen, I flew them to Nashville on credit from the last time they screwed up my flight. So let me tell you, they might screw up your flight, but they sure do give you credit at the yin yang for it. So my whole trip to Nashville was free. So
that's hilarious. My wife and I flew out to San Diego a few years ago for her birthday and a concert out there for Jason Mraz and whatnot. And we let our friend who was a travel agent book it for us. And we didn't specify that we don't mind paying extra for airfare just to make sure we have decent, that I can fit, that I can fit on the flight.
Seats.
You know what I mean? Right. And so he booked us on Spirit and I was like, nah, dude, I'm never again. I know I'm bougie anyways. You watch the show, you pretty much know that about me, but never. I'm a giant.
We know Tiffany's problem. Tiffany, let me tell you, I tweeted at them on my delay and I emailed them and they ended up giving me $150 credit, and then that was Twitter, and then regular email they gave me a $75 credit. So both places got me some credit, and so it was nice.
Yeah. Nice. So, well, anyways, let's kind of get back into it now that we kind of got our stream back here on Facebook. We were talking about this. What I was saying is that what I think the Lightning kind of need is to figure out that thing that they can do off the ice, especially now that they're back home for a little while. Something they can start doing, get the families together, and like Thomas brought up earlier and Pat Maroon said, and it's something that they almost scooped me really because that's what I was going to say coming on this. They're not having fun anymore, regardless of what's going on, even when they're winning or losing. Usually you see this team out there having fun, right? So they need to get that spirit of camaraderie and that idea of hockey is fun. Like they need to bring Brett Phillips in. That's what needs to happen. They need to bring Brett Phillips over and be like, yo, dudes, hockey is fun. Hockey is fun, you know? And that's what I just feel like they've got 13 games. We said, to catch everybody up on Facebook that wasn't there, we kind of broke down. They have 13 games left in the season. And, that's their opportunity to kind of, I say, get the right mentality. I don't even think about the right ship or whatever else. Right in the ship. They just need to get the mentality back of predictable hockey and having fun out there, and just knowing that no matter what happens, they're playing the game they love since childhood. You know what I mean? Like they gotta remember.
And they need to go north and south, not east to west. North to
Yes, and
south.
that's
So
something we were
exactly
talking
what I'm
about
saying.
right before. Yeah. So go ahead and bring that up because bring that up again. You were talking about that earlier before we start the
The
show.
games that they've been really scoring and doing great on, they're going north to south. They're passing up. They're not passing over. They're not passing back. These games that they're getting all these turnovers, and we're getting these odd man rushes going the opposite way. They're going east to west. They're shooting across the ice. They're passing across the ice rather than shooting at the net. Yesterday, there was a good chance of Sergachev almost in there alone. And what does he do? He does the drop pass back. And then it was funny because Espo talked about it on the radio, and he's like, maybe there was someone in the shooter lane. We can't see that. We can't see what their vision is right there on the ice. But you still have to try to take that chance to go after the net because at least you're getting a puck on the net and a chance for a rebound. That's what we need to start doing. We have to start getting pucks on the net, start looking for those rebounds. We have so many players in a slump right now, and that's because they're going east to west, not north and south. They're not getting those pucks on the net. They need to get those. You have Palat, who's in a red bad drought. Sorelli, I think they said 2 goals in 23 games. You have the whole bus line. Perry Maroon was looking real good there for a little while, and now
and that's
tapered off.
something I was gonna say is that Perry, he doesn't look like Scory Perry right now. He looks like Passy Perry. He looks like Passy Perry. He's out there trying to make plays and make passes instead of going to the net and letting the game come to him as it always has. I mean, that's always been his MO is those dirty, be the worm. That's what he hasn't been doing lately. And that line, and people were gonna say, people were gonna say, oh, there's my man Matthew Orozco coming in. I was gonna say, I don't know. Bringing Bogo back was good, but at the same time, I don't know.
Bogo's not a Shattenkirk.
I was gonna say I would have loved Shaddy Deuces rather than Bogo. If we could have figured a way to bring Shaddy Deuces back, that would have been amazing. But the north-south thing is, I think that's predicated also on them not cycling and not being the possession team that they're known for. Again, we talked about it. They're getting beat at their own game. Toronto outcycled them. They had an insane amount of chances on the cycle, and that's usually the Lightning's bread and butter. North-south, get into the offensive zone, get the puck deep, and work from behind the net, and work along the half boards, and that's where this team really creates opportunities, and they haven't been playing that kind of hockey. And I think, again, not predictable. You go back and watch the quest for the cup, and Coop says it almost every single game in that stretch run from going for the finals. Predictable hockey. That's fundamentals. That's being in the right place at the right time. These guys are, Ingblom even said it last night about Matthews, right? Matthews is special because he does a good job of keeping his separation from the defenders or other players. And he doesn't wait that extra second. Anytime he shoots, it's on net.
Right.
He doesn't get deflected.
Right away.
Passes don't get deflected. Right. He knows that he needs to shoot now, because if he waits another half second, there's a stick and there's a deflection and there's a turnover. There's not an opportunity. I think that and here's the thing. He's not alone. Kuch can do that. Stamkos is deadly at that. Point is deadly at that. These are the things that these guys can also do on our team. And there's some guys on slumps, but I mean, Palat's pretty close to his average right now. The guy's a 17 goal guy basically, and he's at 15 right now. Sorelli also, I mean, he's not known for putting up 20 plus goals, really. That's not his theme. So it's not necessarily that I think some of these guys need to score more. I think it's just getting back to the fundamental hockey. It's not that they're not scoring enough. It's that they're letting too many goals in. It's that they're not playing fundamental hockey and they're giving up too many opportunities for the other team.
Right.
Going into playoffs.
2-1, 3-1 games are Lightning hockey.
Absolutely.
But when they did let these 4 or 5 goals in, they would score 6 or 7 and pass. Right. And they're not getting that. And I really thought that in the last couple of games, it seemed like they had rebuilt that third line. Because I thought Paul, Colton, and Hagel seemed to be having fun. They're the only ones that seem to be having fun.
Yeah.
And to me, Paul's been the best guy on the ice since we've gotten him. There has been nobody
Agree.
else better than
Agree.
him on that ice
Agree.
since we have gotten him. And so it seems like that third line was finally something. Why don't we go back to starting that third line again?
I don't think that's far off.
No, I don't think so either. And I think that needs to be the focal point again. And maybe that's the difference, and let them start making the direction of the game. Because Colton, Paul, and Hagel can be just as good as Yanni, Coleman, and Gaudreau. And then build the rest around it. I saw something today about that Hagel was with Stammer in practice this morning. We're gonna
Tiffany just said it in the comments. Stammer is on the Paul and Hagel line this morning.
Yeah,
so.
I just don't see that being a smart move. But Coop is
not
Coop,
permanent.
So.
It's not permanent. I guarantee it's not permanent. What this is Coop being Coop. And he's see, right now he's embracing the grind. I know, yes, he's coming out and saying the things he needs to say in the media. And you don't want your coach to come out and be like, "Oh, it's fine, we'll get there." You want your coach to come out and be like, "It looked like we were easy to play against, right?"
It was Colton, Hagel, and Stammer, not Paul.
No, it wasn't. Oh, okay. But going back to Paul, I 100% agree. I was sitting there, I found myself watching the game last night, falling in love with this guy, and just thinking in my mind, how can we make a contract work for this guy next year? Because they're only going to have $3.5 million in cap space and a lot of holes to fill. But man, that's a guy that I would really be high on trying to bring back next year, just in a 5 or 7 game span. I like everything I see about the hit he laid coming through the defensive zone there. Second period, I think that's the kind of hockey that we're missing right now. And again, that kind of stuff ramps up in the playoffs anyways. And so that's why you don't see as high scoring games in the playoffs traditionally. And I also saw a metric today a graph today that the goals per game average is like way higher than it has been in the last 20 some odd years. And like, it's incredible how high scoring the games have been this season. And I think a lot of that has to do with these guys are getting back to playing full game hockey, actual road trips, no COVID, bubble hockey. You know what I mean? This season has been a grind for a lot of guys and a lot of teams, not just the Lightning. So goals against or average goals per game are up in the NHL overall. It's not just what we're seeing here with the Lightning. So, and again, I made this post earlier too. I mean, sure, it sucks to get beat by Toronto, but in the last 5 games, they've scored, it was like 6 goals, 5 goals, 7 goals, 6 goals, 6 goals. They beat Florida, put up 5 against Carolina the other night. They put up 6 against Boston. You know what I mean? So they're hot. They are the hottest team in the NHL, and Austin Matthews is the hottest player in the NHL right now in the regular season. Can anyone remind me what we know about Toronto in the postseason?
They don't get past the first round.
Yeah, so let's worry about them in the first round. Okay, what I'm worried about now is not this game, even though it is okay against another playoff team, and we didn't have a great thing. These are all valid points. I'm not diminishing those points. Okay, I'm just saying that the playoffs tend to be different. And boom, here we are. And Adrian even said Toronto right now is up 5-3 in Sunrise. So what? So now every other team in the NHL. So what? Are Panthers fans down there jumping off of I don't know, whatever shitty building it is down there that they could jump off? I don't know, like probably, because they're probably all 1,200 of them are the biggest Fairweather fans. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
let's see, they?
But it's Austin Matthews probably has 4 of them.
No, he has none. Marner has 2 though.
Oh, Marner, that dude's good as hell too, man. That is a dynamic duo.
Matthews has really 2 assists.
Yeah, probably on both of the Marner goals.
No,
but really,
Jake Muzzin and one of Marner's, and then Marner has an assist himself. So that's why I was just looking at. Oh no, Matthew has 3 assists. The other one's Nylander's goal.
Yeah. That's funny because Adrian is absolutely confirming that Panthers fans all 1,200 of them.
He's
are
in
jumping.
all of the fan groups for every
I love it.
single team, just
I
so
love it.
number one, he can shit stir, and number two, so that he can see them jump off the buildings.
I may have officially told him that he's my favorite admin from all the groups. No offense to Present Company. But yeah, I did tell him earlier. He's that guy. I love that guy. He's awesome.
He's a shit starter of a shit starter.
I love it. He's in a classic sense though. In a classic sense though, not like, oh, I'm an expert hot take guy. Like he knows how to push just the right buttons. Hey, listen. It might have been a April Fool's joke, Matthew Roscoe, saying he thought we were switching affiliations. If you guys follow us on Facebook, Shooter doing his normal April Fool's things, made a post that we were jumping ship from the Lightning and jumping on the Panthers bandwagon.
What was it called? We the Rats?
We the Rats was supposed to be the show. And I kind of thought about it after all this fan bullshit from the Lightning the last couple of days. You know what I mean? Like, at least I could handle it from the newbie fans down in Florida. You know, it's just too much sometimes from all these Tampa Bay Lightning fans on Facebook.
Do you know what? It's every year though. I went back yesterday.
Yeah,
I was going through old posts from 2 years ago, from 3 years ago, from 4 years ago, and we always have to make the same announcement. Excuse me while I get my snacks real quick. It is better jalapeno popcorn.
Nice.
But it's every single year we have to have this post, even the last 2 Stanley Cup years. There is a question I want to ask people though, in there, and you don't have to answer and you don't have to, but I want to honestly know if the fans actually think we are going to win the Stanley Cup this year. Do you honestly think it's going to be a three-peat?
No.
Because we have to be practical. It's hard to win back-to-back.
Yes.
Let alone 3 Stanley Cups in a row. Do we want the team to win 3 Stanley Cups? Fuck yes.
Yes.
We would love for them to win 6, 7, 8 in a row. But let's be practical. Winning this 3rd Stanley Cup is probably going to be very hard, and it's going to be a very much letdown of fans who have only joined this team in the last couple of years after winning 2 Stanley Cups. Absolutely. Can we do it? We can absolutely do it. Is it going to be hard to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in a 7-game series? Absolutely. We say that every single time on this show. But realistically, this league this year is so identical to each other, and then some last minute additions. It just seems like other teams are clicking at the right time. Doesn't mean we can't, but it just seems we had talked about what the matchups would look like. Right now, it seems like Tampa Bay is gearing themselves for the first wild card, which would put us in a first round matchup against Carolina. And then you would have Toronto and Florida be playing each other in the first round.
I'm good with that.
Right. Which
I'm a huge fan of that. I'm actually a huge fan of that.
And it's like, you don't ever want to win the Stanley Cup without not going through a team. But this year, I'll take it not going through a team. Yeah, I think Florida is really, I want anybody but Florida. I would love to see the Lightning win it, but anybody but the Panthers. Any other year except for this year. The Panthers can win it next year or the year after or whatever, but just not this year.
You and me are on the same page right there as far as Florida. I totally agree. And in fact, I kind of hope they do win in the next couple of years, just because it's going to be good for the game and the game in Florida overall, like the game of hockey in Florida. But you got to be realistic, man. We try to keep it real here, and I'm saying positive vibes for sure. You got to keep the positive vibes, even when you're upset about your team not playing great. It's important to still try and have a positive, spin. Like I said, while we were in between broadcasts, I'm not trying to be a Pollyanna here or have rose-colored glasses, the eternal optimist. I'm just saying that you can't always be, you got to kind of come out with a show of positivity. This team is going to be incredibly hard to beat in the 7-game series. Absolutely. I personally think it's Calgary's year. I think Daryl Sutter's got something special going on up there, and he's got a team that is going to be very, very scary in the playoffs. I think that there's some teams in the West that are underestimating them, and that the West isn't nearly as strong as the East. And I think that's a team coming out of the West. I do think that the wild card, people are losing their minds about where we are in the standings, but I think the first wild card in a matchup to Carolina is the best first round matchups that the Lightning could have. Personally, they match up well. I think they're the team I'm the least scared about in all.
I'm actually more with Jesse and his comment, not the Colorado. Actually, I'm thinking Minnesota. I think now that they got Fleury,
the Flowers are a big power up there for sure.
Yeah, I'm really liking their goalie tandem, and they already have the speed to go with it. I think Minnesota is going to be a beast in the playoffs.
They're dangerous in the West for sure. I don't think Colorado's getting out of the second round. No. I see someone else said, I think it was Colorado. Who was that? I missed it. Somebody said earlier, I think it's Colorado in the comments. But racist fans, Rock said he thinks Colorado wins. I don't think they make it out of the second round again. Honestly, I don't think they're still quite built for some of those playoff teams in the West that, but, I know people are going to sit here and say, oh, it's because we lost. And I've seen a couple of them. We lost Yanni and we lost this guy. Well, yeah, but I still don't think that the core of this team is still absolutely good enough to win the Stanley Cup. Absolutely. Like you said, can we do it? Yes, we can. The Lightning absolutely are a dangerous team in the playoffs. Nobody really wants to face them, even with the slump, or even if them not playing is their best hockey right now. I guarantee if you go to any of those coaches and they say, which team do you not want to play in the first round? They're probably all going to say Tampa Bay. Like they probably nobody wants to see us in the first round, because now I think the Lightning will still have something to prove as well, because they haven't played consistent hockey. They haven't been as dynamic overall as champs. But I just think that, I would love to see Carolina in the first round. The more and more I look at this and the way it's all stacking up, I think it's maybe a little bit of strategery on the Lightning part. Hey, let's just kind of get to the playoffs. Hopefully we can get, if we get Carolina, that's a great matchup for us. And, let's just try and figure, like I said, that now they've just got to work on their chemistry. And I think that's what it is right now. I think the chemistry is off on this team. They spend a lot of time on the road. There's a lot of things going on outside of hockey right now that are affecting some of our big players. And they haven't had the ability to really have those camaraderie moments that they have the last couple of seasons in the bubble as a team. And so, I think chemistry is important in that way. I don't think it's necessarily what they lost. I just think they've lost the ability to have those moments. So
Giroux just scored his first goal for the Panthers. It's now 5-4.
There you go.
Toronto over the Panthers. It's a little
and of course, Orozco is now saying he thinks that Toronto is going to win it. And I don't know, man. I like kind of shitting on them because it's fun and easy to do. But I'm not going to lie. They look a lot different this year than they have the last few seasons when their early round exits.
There was a guy sitting in front of Adrian. So me and Adrian and Adrian's wife, Serena, and Kim Ricci, who she's not on here tonight. But we all sit in the same section. And right in front of Adrian last night was this guy wearing a jersey. And I wish I got a complete picture of it, but we were trying to figure out what it says. And it ended up saying 67 and waiting, and 67 and waiting. And homage to the last time they won the Stanley Cup. And then it said and waiting, but it was literally 67, then the space, then the number N, then a space, then W2, and then a space, and then the N. And I was like, that's kind of a diehard fan there, a diehard Toronto fan to get all that put on that jersey. But I don't think they'll make it. I don't think their goalie, although Campbell looked amazing last night.
Otherworldly last night.
I don't think their goalie tandem has enough in them, because Toronto just a couple weeks ago didn't know who their number one was and was hanging both of their goalies out to dry. So
that's fair. That's fair. Maybe I got a little dazzled by Matthews last night because that guy was good. That guy was really good last night.
Yeah,
listen, I'm not afraid.
Calling them Scoop every time. I had to sit there and somebody else. What are they chanting?
I was getting annoyed. I knew right away what they like. Again, I don't know. I guess I just have that innate hockey savviness in me. But I was like, oh shit, they're chanting Soup in our own building, and let me. You know what? I know a lot of, and this is another thing. People are like talking shit. Oh, season ticket fan members, how dare you? Blah blah blah. We talk about it on this show a lot. Listen. They travel well. They're a good team. They have a historic fan base, and they pretty much are here anyways. They live here or they vacation here this time of year all the time anyways. I love it when they come to our building and they spend their money. I love it when they come to our city and they spend their money. And maybe this is something that is a thing because we do have more of a percentage of our fan base that's just Lightning fans and not like traditional hockey fans and grew up as a fan of the sport. But it's okay to acknowledge greatness from other teams and you're not betraying your team. Okay. You're not betraying the loyalties to your team by acknowledging the other teams are good. You're not betraying your loyalty to your team by acknowledging the other players are good. Okay. That's just being a fan of the sport. And I think that I think that's an important thing, especially when it comes to hockey, not to just be a fan of the Lightning, but to educate yourself and learn the sport itself, learn the NHL, learn the other teams' names. You shared a post earlier about Getzlaf retiring, and someone asked, "Who is that?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "How are you an NHL fan and you don't know who Ryan Getzlaf is?" Like that's the kind of thing.
Your response was Corey Perry's best friend.
yeah. You know, like it's. I just don't understand. Like that's the thing. I think that this fan base could work on a little bit, and maybe I'm mansplaining again here, but. Learn a little bit more about the league and not just the team that you cheer for. And I think that would make it a better experience too, especially when the team is losing or when you start complaining, oh, I have to get ESPN Plus. Well, now you get to watch other teams and other great players as well, not just our team. You get to experience the entire game. And I think that's important. But again,
the thing is that player you're watching on another team might be a future Lightning player.
Yeah.
It tends to happen that way. So
it's kind of crazy,
you know, and who you might really like now might not be here next year.
Right.
I actually was sitting down last night looking at the ice going, okay, most likely Pilote isn't back here next year.
Oh, no.
Who else? Sorry, sad to say, but I can see Stamkos not being here next year.
Really?
I can see him retiring.
You think he might retire?
If they don't win it, I can see him doing that. You've already won 2.
Hockey left in him. I think he has a lot of hockey left in him.
You can see the grind in him. You can see it's taking its toll on him.
Well, he's a family man too now. Right. You know what I mean? Young kid.
He's got the second kid. He had the miscarriage. You got two. You got 2 championships. You came back to see if you can win the third.
You cemented your legacy without a doubt.
Yeah, you know, I could see him retiring. Maybe another year, just waiting for his contract to be over with. But I'm like, you know, there's some guys getting there old. And speaking of that, let's go with what I thought was the game killer last night was the 10-minute misconducts from the bench. And it seems from what I'm seeing, it was the comment to Maroon that he wasn't going to be playing next year is what set off the spark between him. So it said, for what it's worth, Egblom, who was between the benches, said on broadcast that Pat Maroon told Wade Simmons, he told Wade Simmons, hey, you're going to be out of the league next year anyway. Not sure on Simmons' response, but Maroon said that the ref told them that chirping was bad for the TV. It's not
what
TV. Yeah.
Then why are these players mic'd up? Why do they mic these players up then? You explain to me how it's bad for the dude. See? And listen, man, I made a comment kind of if you think the referees don't still have it out for us after that Pittsburgh game, I think this is evidence of that, man. You know.
And then Cooper said
it's ridiculous.
If he's ever seen the 10-minute misconducts for chirping on the bench, no, I've never but I've never seen myself getting ejected for what I did. And so I don't know. Who knows? The game's
Exactly.
changing a bit here in a weird way. Said highly doubts it happens in the playoffs, so why would they call it now?
Yeah. You know,
Someone's called Pat. Pat
Fat
first.
first. Fat Pat. Hey, it's okay if the brothers call him Fat Pat. If you're on the other
That's
team, don't you dare call that man fat. Yeah, and it's sad. And listen, along with this recent comment from Zegras, right? It scares me, man. It scares me that these young superstars have this mentality that now this could be the beginning of the end for fighting in the NHL. Like they've been talking about it for a long time, on and off, and this could be where they're trying to lead this, and I think it's going to ruin the game. It's going to ruin the game if they do that. So
I don't think the players will agree to that anyway. You got to have some form of release when someone pisses you off or they hit your goalie or something. You can't penalize, there's going to be some kind of reaction when you run in on someone's goalie or you get an ice bath.
Well, and again, I hope, obviously when the playoffs start, we know that too. And that's the one thing about the NHL that I still have a problem with is how different the officiating is in the regular season and in the playoffs. I've never understood that disparity there. But yeah, we probably won't be seeing, like Coop said, these kind of calls. We're not going to see Coop getting ejected for, asking him for a clarification. But I absolutely do think that we need to refer to every single one of these referees by their numbers from now on. They don't get the benefit of being called by their names. And, it's sad. It's annoying and it's sad.
I was sitting next to one of our listeners last night. I don't see her on today, but April Trimble.
Mm-hmm.
She was sitting next to me last night. And we were just sitting there watching the game and everything. And she goes, did he just get a penalty from the bench? And at first it only looked like Maroon was. And she's like, they're giving Maroon a penalty on the bench. And I'm like, what in the world could he have done? And then all of a sudden you saw Simmons go over too. And I'm like, they had to have just been yelling at each other. They couldn't have got to each other. And then I said to myself, I wish I was actually at home watching it because you had Eggblom that was in between the benches standing there on the ice level last night. And I was like, I would have loved to hear what he's saying was said because, they had to have yelled past him. But from what he's saying, it literally was just, yelling at each other and the ref didn't like it. And that was kind of softish.
Yeah, very, very soft. Like a warm block of cream cheese, soft. But
like an ice bath to a man soft.
Oh, man. So, so looking ahead, we're looking at Washington and Boston here. A quick game out of town tomorrow, and then Friday night back here with Boston, and then Sunday a Buffalo game here, a matinee with Buffalo. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they respond tomorrow night in Washington after these last two games and see if they can just use these last two games as the motivation to get back to that North and South hockey and go through that film and see this is what's costing you games, is not, like you said, not playing that predictable North-South hockey.
I want to see how they play because Washington looks like they're just hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how they play. And that was another thing that every team is fighting for a playoff position right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a team like Washington who's fighting to stay in. You're gonna have Carolina, Boston, Carolina, Florida, and Toronto, who's looking for that number one seed. Buffalo is the kids' game. Bring your best kids.
Oh, you're the best, dude. That's hilarious. That's so funny.
I'll give you a quick little story of Adrian. Adrian used to troll the pages before I ever met him.
I remember that.
And when the first time I ever met Adrian, he was standing behind me at a fan fest. And I'm sitting there messaging people saying, oh, God, that Adrian guy's standing behind me. because we only knew him as the shit starter. And then we started talking to him, and his wife Serena is like us, where we hate him. and and so I was like, I'm messaging them going, he's actually really cool, and his wife is even cooler. And that's when we first got to finally meet Adrian and Serena, and they're both awesome people. But Adrian will shit start you, and if you haven't been in Thunderbolts long, if you haven't been following Adrian long, he used to be the meme king. Anytime we won, he always put someone's face on the stacks, the Wendy's burger or stuff like that. He did some real good ones. He's slacks now, but he used to be sitting there before the game out on Thunder Alley making his memes for the night. So Adrian's a real good guy. Lightning Strikes took him as an admin, which was a smart move for them because he's the only good one.
Like I said, he might be the best. Yeah. So it's 13 games, and honestly, we got Boston, and then we have Toronto and Florida one more time, and then the rest of these games, Buffalo, Dallas, Anaheim, Winnipeg, Detroit, Nashville, Columbus twice, Islanders to finish the season. Those are games you expect to win without even questioning it, right? Mm-hmm. Like you definitely expect the Lightning to win those games. So it'll be interesting to see how they can come out, and maybe if they can start to reverse the trend a little bit against Boston and against Florida, and that one more game on the 21st against Toronto, and maybe scratch out a win against a couple of those teams here. But I think at least the schedule is favorable and gives these guys a good opportunity to find a way back to winning hockey and,
the schedule
and having fun.
Definitely sets them up for a let's build you up, then see what you got, then build you up some more, see what you got. It has sprinkled in those games every so often to be like, okay, what you guys learn now. Here's your playoff contender team. Here's your playoff contender team. And then we're going to sprinkle you in a couple things. So it really looks like they're going to, they could have a real good rest of the month. Knock on wood.
Yeah. It does seem like they're set up to really figure out. It's beneficial. Let's just say that. They have a very favorable and beneficial schedule for a team that's kind of been struggling for the last couple months. So that being said, we have next Tuesday is an away game for Dallas. So a 9:30 game. So we'll have to get with old shooty shoots, but that's going to probably going to be looking like a pregame show for us. And maybe even a virtual watch party, because it's been a little while since we've done one, and I don't think we really have a good opportunity for the rest of the season to do one of those. So anything else before we get out of here tonight, Schoolie?
No, don't jump off the skyway yet, but also everybody start being realistic. And I've always said, we pay for a product, this is a product. Whether, the worst thing I hate is when someone answers, well, let's see you play. Well, no, because listen, I go to a restaurant to get a great steak because I can't cook one. Okay, right. So I pay $50 for that steak. If it doesn't come out right, what do? I say it didn't come out right, and then it gets spit on. No, then I either get a refund or I get it recooked. So we pay for the product on the ice. We should have a right to be able to say we don't like it, but it doesn't mean that you're the only one that's right. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's going to see the game differently. Just listen to somebody else's opinion, debate them. But there's no need to be like, oh, you're wrong, you're an idiot, you don't know hockey or something like that. Because maybe you're educating on something. Maybe they have just became a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning in the last 2 years because of the Stanley Cups, because of that everybody had to start a fan somewhere, sometime. We got a lot of fans in 2004 when we won the Stanley Cup. Because let me tell you, before that arena was empty. So, and then the losing seasons in between that and Vinnick, they were also empty.
Very, very
So
empty.
it wasn't what we have now. So there's a lot of new fans every year. So educate them, help them with it, and stop just saying that they don't know hockey or they're stupid because they think that the end is near. They are stupid to think the end is near. Let's be realistic on whether or not it's going to be 3 cups or not.
Right. You know, and listen, it's Facebook. It's a platform for everybody, especially the fan groups. Okay.
Oh God! And
Here
there's
comes the troll in the
right?
final hour, right in the 11th hour. Here comes the freaking
the Thunderbolts troll. So we got the 2 trolls in.
Jesus. Couldn't get through a fucking show, could we? No, but listen, I gotta say one other thing too. These Facebook groups are a platform for everybody to be able to share their opinion and try to debate or converse or whatever. Making a post and turning off the fucking comments so nobody can respond to you is bullshit. Okay. I might have gone a little bit hard. I've been posting on Facebook in a fever haze the last couple of days, so I've probably been a little bit less friendly than I normally am. But it's fucking weak. It's weak. Making a post and turning off comments so people can't respond to you. That's one of the reasons I love our buddy Adrian is Scott Nightingale is the biggest bandwagoner according to him.
Can I tell you, 9 times out of 10, that is not the poster. That is the admins that are doing it.
I will, and I've asked them, and even Adrian was like, "Nope, I turned the commenting on for that," because the poster turned it off, and Adrian went and turned on as the admin turned on commenting. He the guy that made the post responded to my comment, and we had our little discourse. But there's another guy in Thunderbolts that does it specifically, and he has been turning comments off on himself Sticks of Fire. Sorry, I think it's Sticks of Fire. But and I was assured that from admins in that group that they were not the ones turning off commenting on those posts. So it's not a lot, but there's definitely 2 or 3 people out there that have become regular offenders of making a post and not allowing comments on your post. If you got something
if you have the balls to post it, have the balls for some answers.
If you got the guts to make the comment, have the guts to face the music. You know what I mean? Sometimes I wish I could go back and delete some of the things that I post because, again, sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me. I will say, please, we do our best here on the show to embrace the female fan base. If another fan is trying to share information or education with you and it happens to be a guy, don't immediately go into this, oh, now I'm being mansplained or anything else like that. I'm not mansplaining. I will say I'm fansplaining. I will say that. I will maybe I fansplain a little bit too much, but I don't try to mansplain. I do my best to, my wife is a person I respect very much, and I trust me that she's a very educated woman, and I would get my ass handed to me if she ever catches me with that kind of mentality, right? So that's not who I am at all. But I do think that, people in this fan base, especially some of the newer people, could be more educated about the NHL as a league rather than just the Lightning as a team. So,
or if you don't agree with them, and I'm sorry, and this isn't a knock on the females because we do have an awesome female fan base on the show, in the groups, everything. But as soon as you don't agree, it's because I'm a woman, isn't it? No, it has nothing to do with your woman. If there was a man next to you saying the same thing, I'd tell him the same thing.
I could probably go pull 2 other posts from dudes that I did had the same exact response to, right? And I got called, and in fact, in this particular, and I guess I'll maybe use my little soapbox a little bit here, but I got called a typical man in this exchange, and if I would have gone and called you called her a typical woman, then that's clearly toxic masculinity, well, right? Calling me a typical man, that's like toxic feminism is a thing too. If toxic masculinity is a thing, there has to be a balance to it. There's an extreme on both sides. You know what I mean? So it's all about having an open mind. If you want to be a fan and you want to be on the fan pages, you still got to have an open mind, and you got to be willing to be educated. And you're not always right. I'm never right. Like, I'm hardly ever right. In my own mind, I'm a legend, but I know for a fact that there's a lot of shit I still have to learn in my life. And I do my best to be open to be taught every day. So, That's enough of that. I'm definitely going to be doing my best to take a break from all of the fan groups until the playoffs, because it's certainly giving me really bad anxiety. Like I just can't with some of these people.
Well, I saw you did the one post, and then Stephanie responded, "This is why I do not go on after a loss." And it's true. Like last night, I knew that score was going to bring out. And I'm like, I can't deal with this tonight. If I end up dealing with this tonight, I'm gonna kick like 20 people out of the group. And so I'm just like, no, and then we have an admin comment, admin chat. So some people's comments were getting screenshot and sent in it and being like, and there's some people that only come out when it's negative.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, you know what? Just kick that person out of the group, because if you're just if you only contribute to be like, they fucking suck, then
right.
You know what? Start your own fucking page.
Yeah.
Like I am all about everybody giving their own opinion, but if you're gonna fight with somebody and just be stupid and only come out when it's the bad, then you don't need to be in the group.
Not a fan. I don't think that's a fan.
So yeah, so I'm just like, I'm not even signing on there. And then I made that post last night saying, "Oh, it's that time of year where everybody, we start losing, and everybody." And we saw that in the montage last week. By the way, Sarah's not on here the last tonight, but she made us these really awesome 100 episode shirts.
Yes, I got to get yours to you. I have it.
Yeah, she said, "Did they send you it? And send you the picture?" And I went, "No." And so she sent me a picture, and it's really awesome. So thank you to Sarah. But it was in the clips of that last week where Jay was saying, "Thomas, are you going to the Skyway? Don't jump, don't jump." And it's that time of year where people are headed to the Skyway to jump off the Skyway. By the way, it's got netting now. You can't do it. Pick a different bridge.
No, it's just a crazy experience.
Yeah. So, but it's that time of year where people start freaking out, and let's be realistic, guys. Winning the third is going to be really hard. Do we want them to win it? Of course we do, but it's going to be very hard.
Yes, it's going to be a long road to hoe. That's going to be the most challenging for sure. Out of the last two. And for this to make the third one, it will be way more challenging than the first two.
Yeah,
by far. So, that being said, we'll reconvene next Tuesday. The illustrious shooter should be in the house again, and we'll be doing a pregame. Thanks again to Thomas from Downtown Crawlers coming on that event May 7th. It's he sent me the official name in the private chat, but I had to redo the restart.
I think I actually took a picture before we restarted it. Let me check real quick.
That's May 7th. It's the
FYI 5-7 event name is Tampa Bay Lightning Playoff Kickoff Bar Crawl. Turn downtown blue. Starting location is American Social, and check-in will be from 4 to 7. Go Bolts.
Yeah. So look out for that. We'll be sharing the event as well. We'll have him on, leading up to the event at least one more time, I'm sure. Shout out to Tiffany Sawyer. Thanks for helping I feel better. I hope you feel better as well. You're going through probably worse than I am right now, even though I feel pretty bad. So hopefully you feel better too soon as well, Tiffany. Sorry you don't get to go to that game tomorrow. Thanks everybody for sticking with us through our technical difficulties tonight and the lack of our captain of the show. Thanks for watching.
But if you guys can do us a favor, next Tuesday, make sure you tell Shooter this was the best episode.
Again, the second best episode, next to the last episode when it was just the two of us. No, we really appreciate it. We miss him when he's not here, but we got this. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. This has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.